Brant, you got me wanting to play Kingdom Hearts.
Said no one ever.
Specifically to Brant.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what's happening there. I see what's happening there. That's quality. That is quality. This
I question my life if somebody comes up to me like, I want to play Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, I don't know, man.
No, Brant is trying to convince you. Cesar, listen, Brant's trying to convince you to play Kingdom Hearts.
You gotta get back on it, man.
I heard Kingdom Hearts, try to play. I'm like, nah, I must be dead. There's no way I'm alive.
I almost beat that first one so many years ago.
Play the first one, play the second one.
That's it? Just stop at 2?
No. Birth by Sleep ruined everything for me. Fuck that.
Renee's here. Was that your play it through 19 times with 5 different protagonists?
3. 3's enough.
My kid's in the same boat.
What's it doing? I heard that nightmare.
Choosing violence for Renee. I said, Renee, you getting your Xbox fixed on Switch yet? He said, I have sinned. How have you sinned? Sinned, child.
Intimate.
Did he intimately sin?
Penultimate.
We will forgive you here at NOFODcast.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of this means.
We've forgiven Renee. Oh, my back hurts. I'm dying.
I keep trying to tell you, man, I'm ready for my robot body, man. Nobody wants to listen to me.
I'll start with a pancreas and a back, and I think I'm good after that.
I don't even need organs, man. Just put me in a fucking robot body. That's it.
I only need one organ. I think I'm fine. Oh, you're taking all bionic everything. It's not just you're not just isolating or separating.
Let's put the fucking sleeve in the robotic body, and bam, I'm in there. So let's go.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. You're surrendering your mortal vessel.
No, man, look, this body's done. Sorry, I can go as far as I can with
You spent this one. You drove it. You drove it 40 years, and now it's finished.
It's out. It's done.
What was that thing? Altered Carbon. They were like sleeves and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
That show was so fucking good.
Yeah.
And we did not do season 2, just like you advised. We laid off of season 2.
Yeah. Just go with the books. Books are better. Books are better.
Brent, your camera's doing something. I can't figure out what it is. It's so fast.
I'm seeing that. I'm not sure what's going on.
It does it so quickly. I can't see it fast enough on OBS.
Has he got his OnlyFans setting still on there?
Oh, Brant.
No, it just kind of glitches out.
But it's like the bottom, right? It's like the bottom of the image. I haven't seen it now since we've called it out. Murphy says there was a Doctor Who episode like that. Cesar, was that the book's called Altered Carbon?
I believe so.
What is the show called? Do you remember?
I think it's also called
Same?
Altered Carbon. Yeah.
Is it on Netflix?
Yes.
Is that when we had your Netflix?
Yeah, before they sat there and they robbed it from everybody. About to do the same thing to Hulu and Disney Plus next month.
But Disney's in talks to do what, like a whole sports thing? ESPN's doing a whole sports thing?
Yeah, ESPN with Warner Brothers. That's the Super Sports app that's pissing off Peacock and Universal because they're not part of it.
Renee says, I was getting judged by one VTuber. Afterwards, I went back to watching Russian VTubers. Okay. We still forgive you, Renee.
I have no idea what the fuck a Russian VTuber is. And don't explain. I don't need to.
Stay out of the chat with explanations.
Yeah. I'm okay not knowing.
Brand, I think you're good because you sound fine. It's just like a momentary flash every once in a while. I wouldn't sweat it. Not with what you dealt with a couple weeks ago.
Brand, you're the same as the universe, man. You're going to flash.
Because your camera looks fine.
Get back to this.
Do you have an extra one?
That's what's on right now.
Instead of the MacBook one.
It's like somebody somewhere in the universe wants Brand to spend like $799 on a new MacBook.
Brant, I thought I had gotten like the world's longest usage out of Mac hardware, but I believe the Crown is now officially, you're using yours for like production style stuff.
2011.
I don't think anybody would judge you if you went and bought a new one.
2011, 2012 is where it's at because you could still upgrade the hardware.
I mean, you basically
Cesar,
forcing it to update.
don't push him. 2012, he got this for leaving middle school, 8th grade, moving into high school. This was a major gift. He wasn't born yet. They're backing you up so far, Brent.
It was passed within his family. That's how old that thing is. So.
Since I was moving into a robot body, you were just like born into one. You were born into an older version.
I don't believe anything you're saying, sir. None of that's true.
2012 Brent. Baby Brent in a manger. Boosh says you're looking fly. Boosh says you're looking fly. You don't have to take any of our bullshit.
So Brent was born in 2012, and soon he was born, they handed him that MacBook. He's had it ever since. So.
Yep. Something like
that. He came
that.
from the nation of Apple, Cupertino. I was born in Cupertino, California. When I came out, they handed me a MacBook.
I'm sure Brand's over here like, don't quit your day job. You're never gonna be a biographer. Yeah.
Or a time zone expert.
Yeah.
I don't know when my back hurts. I have random back pains. I don't know if it's changing chairs multiple times a week or posture.
Is it your back? Your neck?
Oh God.
My crack? My crack?
Yeah, all the way to your crack.
Yeah, that too.
Why we're bringing back 2000?
Your cease and desist.
That came on Brent's MacBook at birth with his iTunes, with his build of iTunes and his iPod.
Hey man, only one of us in the music association came after, man. That's all I know.
Man, I should have brought that down. I think you guys might be interested in that. I know I sent Cesar a link earlier in the week. I bought a FLAC music player, like a dedicated. It has a click wheel and everything. I did a bunch of research on. For some reason, the Reddit algorithm drove me towards digital audio players. So they were all over recommending these digital audio players, and I was like, fine, let me just. And my wife was sick this past weekend, and in her delusional state, I was like, hey, can I order this? It plays music files. It's kind of like an iPod. She was like, yeah, that's fine. So I ordered
the one thing you used it on was
that. Yes, I burnt my credit on that.
Yeah.
I've been talking about them off and on, so it's like, all right, I'm using the Amazon account, so this is going to be seen. I can't sneak this through anything. And the first one they sent me, I get it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh my God, this is so well built. The click wheel feels good. I love these tactile buttons. The screen is just enough. And I move it, and I go to like flip it over and put my headphone jack in it, and it sounds like I hear this like noise. And I'm moving it around. It's like there's a piece rattling in this brand new thing I just got. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh.
But that let me tinker with it. I threw some FLAC files on there. And I had downloaded, another side note, I had downloaded some FLAC files off of very popular sea sailing websites. And I was sent a cease and desist from my ISP for downloading something from this site.
Somebody's on that chair on the other side. Like, God.
But it was only like 3 things from there. I got the rest of it from Internet Archive. Like, there's so much shit on Internet Archive.
Did you petition your internet service provider? Like, look, I just didn't want to put my disc in my PC and make official FLAC files. Just let me have this.
Basically. And what I also failed to disclose earlier and just now realized is I want to see. There's a screener of a Japanese movie that I want to see, and I downloaded 2 Indian copies of it, and it's subtitled in not English. Some sort of Indian dialect. So it could have been one of those. Have y'all heard of Perfect Days? The guy's like a toilet cleaner. Look at the trailer for this. It's called Perfect Days. He cleans toilets, but it's not... he has a very... I'm trying to think of another movie like this. I watched the trailer. NPR was talking about it. But he wakes up... He does the same like rhythmic process every day. Like he wakes up, spritzes plants, pulls on his uniform. But his toilets are like ornate. They're decorated, and one of the ones the trailer shows him cleaning, like lights turn on and off. It's not like a standard toilet, like a metropolitan public use bathroom. It's like they're almost like events, like wherever these toilets are. And that was enough to intrigue me. I was like, I need to know why he's cleaning these special type toilets.
Not intriguing enough for you to go to the local AMC and watch it where it's playing right now?
I did look at tickets, and then while I was already sailing the seas for the FLACs, I was like, let me go ahead and hit this up. So it might have been one of those 2 movies. Because right now all the Oscar screeners are out there. And I believe it's up for Best Foreign Film. Which I guess the Academy decides what's foreign and what's not. But that's
just how they do it, man. It's a committee of like 100 people, I believe.
We ask 100 people. We ask 100 American people, what's the best foreign film? But Perfect Days. Check out the trailer for that. It looked pretty wicked. I used to, when Oscar season would roll around, I would hit up the Pirate Bay and get every single Oscar screener I could find and watch everything coming up for Best Picture. I think Hurt Locker was one of the last ones I did. Do you remember that year Hurt Locker won Best Picture and a whole bunch of awards?
Hurt Locker. What was that? Catherine Bigelow?
Fantastic film.
Did a good job with that one. That was Jeremy Renner,
Yeah.
right?
You seen that one, Brant?
Which one?
Because the cover has... spoilers for the first 5 minutes of the Hurt Locker, but the cover has... what's his name? Something. Guy Pearce. It has Guy Pearce on the cover, and it says starred Guy Pearce. And Guy Pearce stars in that movie for exactly 30 seconds. And then it's Jeremy Renner. It's almost like the Solid Snake flip.
Yeah, because they're bomb disposal people in like Iraq, right?
Yep.
So I think my favorite part was when American Dad did something like that, and then I think Roger was in Iraq, but he was cleaning out toilets out of porta potties.
Why are these lores merging here? These storylines.
So like he wears this huge suit just like Jeremy Renner wears, so he can clean out the porta potties.
Oh man. Yeah, I downloaded all the screeners that year. That was a solid year for movies. I can't remember what else it was up against, but there was a bunch of films. Long gone are the days. You guys ready? 8:17. 5 people-ish.
I mean, you can always relive your pirate ways and Skull and Bones. So.
Actually, I haven't deleted that for some reason.
You'll get back to it eventually.
Oh. That's not gonna happen. I gotta delete that shit. I got Helldivers. It may be coming in tomorrow. We don't know. It's supposed to be 1 day shipping from store. Then they tell me...
We're on, what, day 5 and 1 day shipping now?
Cesar, just remind me to tell the Helldivers Walmart story when you talk about Helldivers. We're wasting precious content here.
Yeah.
Brant looking fly. Why specifically Bleach? What's wrong with myself or Cesar here? I mean, I'm all here for the Brant praise. I also agree. Brant looks fly. Was it the camera slander?
I live in a life where I'm constantly insulted, so this is fine by
me. You live in a life where you're constantly insulted?
This is
That's
part
not
of the
okay. I'm not okay with this lifestyle. Renee, 10 minutes later, let's go Russian VTubers. I want to make that VTubers for some reason. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yes. Proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 293 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and Academy Award nominees podcast. Tonight, Xbox multi-platform announcement, ? Renee's going to join us and tell us all the places he's playing his favorite Xbox games. Sony's new PC strategy, also ? We'll put that in there. Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. Bunch of announcements today, lots of cool stuff. Lots of ports and remakes, right? Is that where we're at in the generation? Yeah, I thought that was everybody else's takeaway also. And we have your PlayStation Extra and Premium games, as well as your late February Game Pass titles. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster, Brant McKeeblade.
What's up?
That probably doesn't hit for the audio podcast. Brant is wearing a Keyblade and a Master Sword.
Mm-hmm.
Pedestal? What was those called? Pull the sword out of the... What is that? Die? Right. Like D-A-I-S? Is that the right term?
You tell him to die.
What does the sword get pulled out of? Speaking of pulling out swords, that voice you heard was Cesar Concepcion, our resident lore master and page master. Cesar, welcome.
Hello.
Cesar, where'd you pull your sword out of?
This is oddly sexual.
I don't know. Was it a Keyblade? Yeah, Brant's t-shirt is Kingdom Hearts inspired. Join us for the pre-show. Before we start recording, usually 8 o'clock-ish, 8:10-ish? For whatever hijinks lead into me saying we're the Southeast premier video game and whatever podcast. It's been wrestling. It's been VTubers. It's been all sorts of stuff. Guys, this is news heavy. We have news heavy. Are we in a news heavy mindset here? Is that the route we're going to take? I've played some embarrassing Warzone. I've played a couple other things.
Yeah.
My child brought back, single-handedly, has all of our gift and brought back a long-dormant franchise for some reason, and that was included in the Nintendo Direct. I'm looking at the copy of the case over there where they popped it into the Wii, so... Weish told me today, have them just pick something totally obscure and totally test the theory and see if we get one of those franchises. All right, there's a lot. Let's jump into it. We finally have a resolution for the Xbox multi-platform strategy. Before we jump into the news, did everybody watch this? Before we jump into this piece of the news.
No.
You didn't watch? Cesar, did you watch?
No.
Hell no.
Okay. I watched the whole thing. I muted the news as it was coming out. It was an awkward, unprepared, like, it was scripted, clearly, but it was an unprepared, like, we have to address this for some ungodly reason. And I guess, like, my hot take from the Nintendo Direct, the partner Direct that we got, none of this was news. None of this was, like, groundbreaking news. I don't know where. I guess the internet steamrolling got all of its panties collectively in a wad, and they had to come out and address this stuff. These are all legitimate choices and strategies. I don't want to... There's no... Renee said he hasn't watched. There's no, like, degradation of the platform or any... I never got the thinking that they were leaving the hardware business. They doubled down on making more hardware. It just... I guess we'll go through the news bit, but that was my take from watching it. Like, okay, all this makes sense, and this is all kind of where they were already headed anyways. This is, I guess, just coming out and actually saying it instead of slowly trickling out more content to more platforms. But it's not these heavy hitters of, again, a degradation of I don't know what that even means. All these games are spread across everything. Oh, let's dive into it. Let's go. This comes from VideoGamesChronicle.com. Andy Robinson. Xbox confirms it's bringing 4 games to rival platforms. We now know all 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we do know all 4. Phil Spencer claims the releases do not represent, quote, a change to our fundamental exclusivity strategy. So this was one of those, it's not live, right? They just post a video and you can comb through it. It's already in sections, that sort of thing. So that's sort of what I mean by scripted. The interviewer she was kind of harsh on him. I think it was an Xbox employee, but she was kind of like the hard-nosed journalist. She was leading these questions.
She used to be the editor-in-chief in IGN.
Yeah. So she does know her journalistic stuff. Where was I going with that? But the sections on YouTube even told you, like, there was a preservationist section. So I was looking at that, like, what exactly are they talking about? I think they've done a great job of making sure my discs from 20 years ago I can pop in and play. I think they've led the charge on that sort of stuff. Microsoft has confirmed that 4 unnamed Xbox exclusives will be released on other platforms. According to The Verge, these games will be Pentiment, which we have since confirmed, Hi-Fi Rush, which we have since confirmed, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded, which we have since confirmed. Only Cesar's playing Sea of Thieves on his PS5. The news was announced as part of a new podcast designed to give an update on plans for the Xbox business going forward, in which gaming boss Phil Spencer claimed the decision had been made to ensure the long-term health of Xbox. In the podcast, Spencer said Starfield and Indiana Jones would not be going multi-platform. In a separate interview with The Verge, the exec said he wouldn't rule out the possibility for these titles to arrive on PS5 in the future. I don't think we should, as an industry, ever rule out a game going to any other platform, he said. Makes sense, right? Especially with seeing the success that other developers have with the 1-year exclusive rights and things like that, and going to PC maybe. He also claimed the 4 unnamed releases did not represent a change to our fundamental exclusivity strategy, and there was no promise beyond those titles coming to rival platforms. To ensure long-term success for both Xbox and the industry as a whole, we must continue to evolve. Today, we announced that we will expand the communities we reach. We are currently in the process of bringing 4 Xbox games to other platforms. I don't think we need to read the rest of these quotes. You guys think there's anything in there? Like, you can read this article and hear all the Phil Spencer stuff. They're still committed to consoles. They're still developing new hardware. That player base is going to grow with this, they hope. There's going to be more people subscribed to their service. Game Pass is not coming to other platforms. What do you guys think? We finally had an answer, and I haven't heard anything about this since, and I did not see any.
I know everybody collectively kind of just shut up about it.
Immediately.
It was so much of a nothing.
Yeah. I mean, they had those 4 games ready because they're coming out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Assuming the announcements would have went out right around this Direct would have came out.
And Grounded looks like absolute dog shit on that Nintendo Switch. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
I'm amazed they got it running on that.
Good God almighty. Whew.
But, sure.
Hey, if they can get Blast Core running on Switch, I guess the Grounded is fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was... I think I read into, what was it? I read a poll somewhere that on YouTube where most people voted like this just could have been a fucking press release. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It really could have, but we were talking about it for weeks, right? And there was all this smoke and fire, and as you get to the end of the show and you look at the stuff they're talking about, nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing has changed for that platform. And they're simply acknowledging a business strategy that everyone else honestly is doing. They are. Except Nintendo, but even Nintendo is just getting like third-party ports. You know what you're getting with Nintendo. You're going to get a great first-party machine, and since the Wii, you're going to get a downgraded copy of everything else that might come that way.
And I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5-10 years they can go to PC because those things are getting pirated on there anyways. You might as well start making money off of it, so...
Yeah, as stuff diversifies, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, not anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised down the line they eventually just do it. They're like, people are stealing our shit on PC anyways. Might as well give them an avenue to get it officially. So.
And why would you not, let's say, Master Chief Collection? You've had Master Chief Collection on sale for Xbox and Steam for $10 a piece, right? You want people in there buying cosmetics. Halo Infinite's already free to play on Steam and Xbox. Why not put those on things and bring in that additional income and player base when you know there's 50 million Switches out there? 40 million? It's just below PS2. And then 60 or 70 million PS5s out there and 150 PS4s. it could be done. That all of a sudden is not this crazy prospect.
I mean, the only thing, like you said, the only thing we got out there was those. They're going to start looking at titles. They're going to bring them out there. They got those 4. They said they're going to consider everything, even though they said at this moment, Starfield and Indiana Jones is not coming to any other consoles at this moment. But that could change in the future. And they didn't commit to like, if we do it, it'll be a year later. They gave no ramifications. That way nobody comes bitching at them like, this thing was like 6 months exclusive. This one's day and date. This one was 2 years. I mean, they're going to do it the way that they see fit that works for their business. So.
And these studios are not, I mean, would you consider Rare an Xbox studio? Do you think like, man, when I think of Rare games, I think of the great shit they put out on Xbox. No.
I just think of what I told you earlier, that Rare has never made a PlayStation game until now.
So what is that? What is that first one? Is it Pentiment?
Rare? No, it's Sea of Thieves.
It's gonna be Sea of Thieves. Was that officially announced?
Yeah. It comes out April.
I don't know that I saw that. I know you were chatting about it, but I was like, maybe they did something in that period between Super Nintendo and 64.
Geoff did a whole Twitter post about how Rare never developed a game for PlayStation. This is the first one in 30x years, and then Rare came out and just talked specifically like, we never made a PlayStation game before. This is our first time, and hopefully more to come. Basically.
Oh, we were talking about that last year or last week, weren't we? Were we talking about Rare never making a PlayStation game?
So.
And now we got more Rare catalog on Nintendo, and that's coming up later in the news. And I was like, that's a great thing. That's a huge part of that 64 library. They were already kind of leaning into that, but please God, let that stuff come somewhere.
I mean, they had a good, like I said, like Phil Spencer said, they have a good relationship with Nintendo. They had to work together to get that GoldenEye on there. So.
Pause for a second. Richard's dying.
Dying slowly. I knew I had to mute for that one. I was like, oh God, this is not going to be good. But these studios, like Hi-Fi Rush is Bethesda, right?
Yeah. Tango.
Recent-ish purchase. That's not really PC everything developer. Evil Within was out on everything.
It was Bethesda, so it was always a third party.
Grounded.
Pentiment was Obsidian. They were always developing for multiple consoles.
And Grounded, right?
Well Grounded. Yeah.
Noted PC developer and PlayStation 4 games for years. Like these aren't tentpole. Remember when Final Fantasy 13 came to Xbox, and it was such a huge deal that Final Fantasy came to Xbox. None of this stuff to me feels like that sort of impact. It still is not. We heard all stuff rumored about Gears of War, and none of those came to fruition either. But like I said with Halo Infinite, like that's an Xbox thing. It's on PC, so it's up.
Well, a lot of those rumors were stupid because they all said they were considered. Nothing ever said they were officially coming out. So.
But what's not considered? I'm sure everything is considered. I'm sure Game Pass on Switch is considered.
The whole thing we took out of it is every game in their catalog considered,
right.
but it doesn't mean it's coming
right.
out. So that's what made it so stupid, because they acted like they were going full third party, and that was never the case. So
I will give.
That's why I just shook my head online. I was like, man, these people, man, I swear. So.
And as much as I feel like there wasn't like super great of news, I think Diablo 4 to Game Pass was my biggest news takeaway. I think that's awesome. It's a great announcement. That was like the big yay. That's cool. But I will give them props for coming out and addressing this. There was a lot of smoke, and people were wondering and whether the angry corners of the internet were validated or not. I don't know, but I give them props for coming out and addressing stuff. I like the transparency. And it's business as usual. Nothing's changed. It's the same as it was 3 weeks ago, just without the rumor mongering and everything. They make great hardware. That Xbox One is a tank. And everything they've made since that Xbox One is like awesome. I've said on the show before, if they made something... Oh, Phil Spencer also, either in this thing or afterwards, digital licenses, like games that you own digitally will start coming to xCloud. It won't just be the streaming things in that service specifically.
That was
it was a DM who responded to somebody
afterwards.
That was a couple days ago. Somebody messaged him straight on Xbox and asked about that.
And that's big, because I have just as many digital licenses as I do things that are available on xCloud. I've bought all those original Xbox games. I've slowly stockpiled those up as I go. It would be awesome to play those on the go separately from xCloud. So they're investing in their infrastructure. They're investing in their hardware. I don't know how you could leave that. If you're an Xbox fan, if you've decided to associate with a brand for some reason, a corporation, I don't see how you leave that and don't think, okay, and that's part of what they address with the preservation thing is, we're going to honor that stuff going forward. We don't want you to build a library and then think that the rug's going to be pulled out from underneath you and you won't have access to that stuff before. That's all of our fear, right? We don't want to lose those licenses and those things we've invested in this platform.
Nintendo.
Yeah. We'll happily sell you Super Mario Brothers again.
And then remove it from the store on a certain date.
Yep.
And then we all buy Super Mario Brothers. My coughing wasn't muted? Everyone heard my coughing still?
No, we can
no.
see it.
Oh, okay, you could just see it.
We just saw you.
Whew. Wrong pipe, man. That was that was rough. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything else we have to rehash on that?
No.
No, and they're excited to show new games at the June showcase. So if you're invested in Game Pass, if you have Xbox X or a Series S or any of those, hopefully we see the rumored handheld thing. That would be awesome. I would love to have a Portal type device for Xbox. I think that's super cool. Or get Brent to help me with Game Pass on my Switch. My Switch.
Yes.
My Steam Deck. The other S handheld.
It's easy.
I mean, the cloud-based one's easy. I'm looking forward to when they. Like I said before on this podcast, Steam's roadmap this year is to get dual OS booting, so you can install Windows 11.
You did mention that.
So you can be able to play that way. So.
You did mention that. Mermaid saying she heard the coughing. You guys say no. When I cut the recording, I can clip it out. I can clip out the coughing if it shows up. If I have to. She just felt it. It was that harsh. Oh, I've been talking a lot. Somebody tell me about Sony's PlayStation profit margins and PC releases. Speaking of business strategies.
So, of course, after Xbox's perceived debacle, PlayStation kind of had their own thing going on. First thing that's not mentioned in this article is the fact that they said that they don't really have a big first-party studio game, big blockbuster game, something like another God of War or...
What's the term they use? It was like tentpole franchise or something?
Pretty much like existing It doesn't mean that there's not maybe something new IPs.
There's a new IPs probably, but they said there's nothing existing IPs like God of War, like you said, or Horizon.
That's exciting to me. I think one of the zeitgeist moments of the year so far has been Helldivers, and even though they showed that off at State of Plays and things like that, it is not. It was not expected to be the zeitgeist, I guess, again, is the term I use for how it's taken over social media and just the talk of gaming right now is all Helldivers 2 stuff.
There's a petition to bring into Xbox. I think they're almost at 100,000 signatures.
That's good too.
Yeah.
So this actually is Chris Scollion from VGC, and this is from a Q&A done with the Sony president and PlayStation chairman, Hiroki Totoki, who wants the company to be aggressive when it comes to improving its games division's profit margins. And he said that can be achieved with a greater focus on bringing first-party games to PC, which is interesting considering right now Helldivers is the only one that's gone in day one, because they've put Sackboy on there, Uncharted, Horizon, God of War.
Is Ragnarok on PC yet?
No,
that's one of the. No. Okay, that's a big one then.
Just that 2018. Yeah. But
I think right now, what Brand's going to say, but I think right now it's been a 2-year. Most of those been 2-year waits, I think, which what Brand might say.
Last of Us.
Last of Us Part 2 was day one, right? That was on both.
No,
it was not.
No, it's not even out yet.
Okay.
The first Last of Us just got added last year, and
that was like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah, and all of them with the. They are selling, but they don't. From the sales figures that they've released, they're not selling amazingly well.
People aren't threatening to throw their PlayStations in the ocean.
No,
they did that the first time they were coming to PC. I think we're all over.
I was gonna say, was this a big outroar at that time? I just don't remember it being.
It's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same outroar.
It was.
Microsoft were saying.
Yeah, people were complaining about it. We talked about it.
Yeah.
I think I didn't care then, so it didn't stick out as being.
It was in 2019, and everybody made a big deal about it. I remember about it. It's just like I said, it's the same thing when Microsoft did it for theirs, which was 2016, when all their stuff was day and date when they announced it for PC, and everybody was whining about it and canceled the pre-orders for Quantum Break.
Coming from Microsoft, the PC OS of choice maker.
So, Totoki was asked why the games division is seeing an increase in gross income, but not profits, and whether there were any initiatives planned to improve the bottom line. He replied with, there's two main factors he wanted to focus on: hardware and first-party games. They want to see cost reduction of the console cycle, which is extremely hard to come by. Hardware manufacturing. I saw somebody really kind of diving in today how the consoles are really kind of that last bastion of this physical media kind of thing. Most people have gone to streaming when it comes to getting their movies, music. So aside from Richard buying an MP3 player and, those other people buying Blu-ray players every now and then, or maybe even going to Goodwill, picking up a DVD player.
I saw a 3D Blu-ray player at Goodwill today for $5. Sony.
You don't see them out in the wild. When's the last time? Every now and then I see maybe some budget DVD or Blu-ray players out somewhere, but most of the time they're nowhere. And people have been, like we talked about, there's several UK chains. Best Buy over here has gotten rid of games and movies.
Target is
everything else, and
deserted
Target is
wasteland.
Where did I go? I went into I think I went into a Walmart the other day, and they have greatly reduced their physical stuff, their shelves, DVDs, movies.
But up on vinyl records and CDs.
No music, but there was a little bit of music. They had a lot of vinyl.
Yeah, a lot.
AC/DC is exclusive to Walmart. I was like, what?
Really?
And
vinyl? Yeah. Walmart exclusive.
This specific Walmart This specific Walmart, I remember them having certain games for Switch and everything. They had so many, they were piled in the bottom of the display case.
Yeah.
When I went in earlier this week, I think it was, that everything's gone. They have no games piled up. They have the big sellers that are up on the shelf, and that's it. Same thing with Xbox and PlayStation. Most of the games, there's some of the major sellers. The rest of the case is pretty empty. So it's just kind of odd to see that. And so when you have all of that, when you're a console manufacturer and you're trying to find these places that still make these chips, these drives, and everything else, it's a little bit it's harder to come by, and the cost is high to manufacture a lot of these things.
It's like Brian said. I think Phil Spencer said the exact same thing about factoring the cost of getting a drive installed. They're not moving away from physical stuff, but those are taken into account when making the console and making.
I mean, why was Sony ahead of that by making this new one? That's like if you get the new PS5 Slim digital, you basically have the capability to make it a physical one later on. Is that a counter move to that?
It's just easier for Sony because Sony's already manufacturing drives from PC aspect for when they had Bio, and they manufacture their drives. They have a company that they own that manufactures memory. They're single-handedly keeping the physical Blu-ray media alive, because I sent you all that thing with the
cover that
Disney signing a deal
cover
with
the
Sony,
Disney thing.
Sony Pictures. So Disney's been looking to get out of making physical media for a while, and they stopped making physical media in their catalog releases within the last 2 years that have only done new releases. But a lot of people were not happy about that route, so they, instead of them doing it in-house, they ended up signing a deal with Sony Pictures Entertainment to produce all their new releases, starting with, I think, a 20th Century Fox film next month. It's all coming from Sony Pictures now.
So
for the physical media, and then they're also going to do their back catalog.
Legitimately locked in the vault. Remember the tapes we would get? It's like, you better buy Rescuers Down Under. It's going in the vault. They're literally
going back in the vault.
And they would do the animation of the thing closing, and the rescuers are like getting locked away. They're literally doing that.
And I think I talked to Renee about this. Secretly, Sony's been streamlining that stuff because they also Crunchyroll would make their own Blu-ray releases, and they just moved all their Crunchyroll anime Blu-ray stuff in-house to Sony Pictures now to do that. So they're streamlining everything movie-based into one location that Sony owns. So I think that's why there wasn't any anime releases on Blu-ray within the last couple months, because they were physically moving operations internally to the new group. So it's like they're trying to streamline the process to reduce cost, because they know it's a niche market, but there's still people out there who clamor for that market, and they still want to address that need, but do it at a cost-effective
Is their
way.
mindset they'd rather get the subscription model from you than you purchasing a new release, Pirates of the Caribbean? They'd rather you pay the $15 a month for ad-free 4K, whatever that ends up being? I mean, that's where we cross over into the Xbox model, right? When you don't care where you play Game Pass at, as long as you're consistently plugging away, paying that $15 to $20 a month. Because it's coming to where they separate those tiers out. It's like, I mean, they've already got the Game Pass core and that sort of thing, but it's going to end up being, okay, here's your, just like Netflix, here's your 4K streaming plan, here's your 5 concurrent devices plan, here's your 1080p streaming plan with ads. Like, that's the model, right? That's where that stuff ends up going.
Yeah. I mean, it should be more clear soon, because I know they said there was an increase in Game Pass, but I think they clarified and came back and said that was also including the core one, so they didn't know how much the premium service actually increased, and they probably think they didn't. It just was conversions from the standard
Gold
Xbox Live Gold, but I think they do that so it's easier just to report one figure instead of trying to sit there and differentiate. We got X amount of people on Gold, we have X amount of people on Game Pass, so I think right now it looks weird, but I think in the future you'd be able to see better growth on those types of digital services. So, because I think they came back and said majority of the people in Xbox is what digital. I think they said it was like 70% physical and 30% digital on Nintendo, and I think it was like 60-40 on PlayStation. I think they said first party on PlayStation was 70 or 80, or there's more people buying first party games on PlayStation than digital. So it's like 60-40. I think there's like 60 physical, 40 digital. I can't remember. It might have gone the other way too on PlayStation, but
I'm still treating the PlayStation like I did like PS3. I'm buying old school stuff digitally. The same thing with the Xbox. Unless I get a great deal on a digital license, I'm buying old school stuff or older titles digitally. I'm buying new releases or first party. I haven't bought a first party Xbox game in years, but I'm buying first party PlayStation stuff physically.
I mean, if it's a good deal digitally, I'll buy it. If it's like $5 or $10, that's usually my
right. It's usually
price.
Older, like a release, or it's a vintage, classic title, a retro, or whatever you want to call it, and you're just throwing it in the stack, right? I might play this later, or we're trying to support a new one like Soul Calibur for PSP. Like we bought a license key for Soul Calibur. Give us more Soul Calibur. We want Soul Calibur 2 remade again.
But yeah, we're in this weird spot now where you're going to start seeing cutting corners in physical media because you saw, I mean, Limited Run came out and announced those Microsoft games are going to be printed by them. So
yeah,
it's not being handled by Microsoft. So I think we're going to start seeing more Microsoft going out to other companies to handle their physical runs.
Everybody wanted and I'm okay with that because I'll support those. The advantage used to be going to a brick and mortar store and either going to a midnight release or using trade-ins to put down towards the next thing or something, and those incentives are gone there. So there's no reason to not order online. It's no different than getting from Walmart or Target or somewhere and just having it shipped to you.
The only weird thing we'll come across is what we're seeing in the Ultra HD Blu-ray department now, where we have certain releases that are getting sold at high marked up, and then not marked up values. They're just more expensive than the standard one, like $30 or $40 for Ultra Blu-ray. And they're limited runs, they're prints, so you don't ever see them on sale again. If you don't buy them, they're $150 on eBay.
Yep.
So you're more forced to buy stuff that you want full price nowadays, instead of like, I'll wait towards the holidays and get it for like $10. It always is. So you're going to start seeing that a lot in video games too, with these limited runs too, where they're like, all right, it's going to be print, so if you want it, you got to pay the price now, or you may or may not be. That's a chance you got to take when you look for it. Aftermarket, you may be paying more for it. So if you want it,
I fucked up with that Atari 50 collection. I supported on Switch day one, and I was like, I'll get the PS5 one. I'll give them 2 rounds. I'll double dip. I'll support them. I cannot find that PS5 copy of Atari 50 anywhere. It's not available anywhere. It never pops up on eBay. And now the second version of that Goldmaster series that Digital Eclipse is doing is digital only. If I read that right today, the Jeff Minter collection is going to be digital only. And their press release said coming to all digital storefronts March 13th. I think it was March 13th. I know.
They just announced it today.
Yeah, it came out today. And I was combing that press release, looking up and down, and all I saw was digital storefronts. And I was like, fuck.
Way to go for preservation.
So you got to hope. They've worked with limited run before. You just got to kind of hope that maybe, hopefully. But then again, they're owned by different operating companies, so you never know, things change. So,
but they seem to have a good relationship across those two companies, so fingers crossed on that one. And Hi-Fi Rush got one, and that is a game everyone needs to own. I'm sorry, it's available in everything now. Everyone needs to own Hi-Fi Rush. It's one of those games.
I'll buy a physical copy of Pentiment as well. What I played on Xbox was very, very good.
I need to play that. Everybody raves about it. When I look at it, I don't get anything from judging the book by the cover. Essentially,
it's really, really wacky and different, and it's one of those titles that I think they could have only made since they've been purchased by Microsoft. I think they would have went to somebody else just like, I'm not. They would have had to fight hard to get that release, and it probably would have been compromised. Like, hey, we had to cut this and this. Like, normally those companies, Obsidian and Double Fine, would run into those issues all the time to get something out.
And that's something people don't look at with the Xbox Game Pass catalog and things like that. Is the safety net of Microsoft. Like they just cut 1,900 jobs. It's hard to say that specifically, right? But you can gamble. Ever since the beginning of Xbox, they've been able to gamble on certain things and take losses. Like they lost $1 billion on that original Xbox, but they're able to gamble on certain things, and maybe there's things that wouldn't get published on other platforms that did end up there. Even though indies and online distribution and digital titles and things like that have eased that burden, I feel like you're not having to buy 50,000 cartridges from Nintendo at one time, right? PlayStation broke that, and then we had digital distribution after that. But the way we buy games, the way we learn about games, everything has drastically changed from what we supported and grew up with. And maybe it's just that nostalgia lens that we have to let go of. It's just not the same anymore. Brent, I always think about, Brent, it's heartbreaking that you bought that Halo Infinite disc. It kills me because I have stacks and stacks of Halo discs that at any time I can pop out and play a full version of any of those Halo games. And you cannot do that with that disc. And that was like the tentpole franchise to me for break these out and play them with friends, and here's one that's just, it's not.
I mean, the smart delivery system, man, is a gift and a curse. So easy
It
to get
is.
your upgrades, man, but it ruined a lot of physical copies because even that Pentiment on from Limited Run is a smart delivery disc. So it's an Xbox One disc with
Upgrade to Series X.
So
which.
Yeah, so I don't whether or not which I don't think is a big game, and I don't think it matters. It probably can fit everything, all 30 gigabytes on that disc, but
Pentiment is 30 gigs.
Not everything's on that.
Right. I was about to say, what does that game turn into? I've not seen that.
I question whether or not everything is on that disc at this point for Xbox. So
right, and I mean, it's all a gamble when you're. Not saying you're carrying a flag for a platform, but if you're supporting physical media and you're having to decide between that, right? Like, if I buy Psychonauts for PS4 and it comes with a PS5 upgrade, that's assuming that I'll be able to pop that disc in and hit a PS5 server and it gives me that copy, right? Versus specifically with Psychonauts 2, if you bought that Xbox copy, you got two different discs. You didn't get a smart delivery disc. You got a Xbox One native version and you got an Xbox Series X native version. Is that the solution? Versus, like, I've gambled. Sure, I could have bought the PS4 version of certain games and gotten that PS5 upgrade, like, was it Valkyrie Elysium? I think it was one of those, and there's a ton of them, and actually they've done a great job with it. But faced with the same objective price, I've gotten the PS5 version of those titles.
I mean, I think it's because of the physical media they kept it separately for that reason. I think it was easier for Sony to put that in. It's not very consumer friendly, but it was easier for Sony to provide it if it was a separate SKU than versus doing a smart delivery type.
And is that going to end up being the better solution long-term preservation-wise? I don't know. I'm gambling on certain purchases like that, you know? You just have to hope for the best and think you're making the right decision with that.
That's why I would very less likely to buy a physical copy of an Xbox game unless it's like $5 with that smart delivery on there. So I
just got one in. What did I get? Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. It was $10. But I just got Air Twister, that game you were talking about. That came in for PS5.
I mean, I just got this. This just came in, right? It's 2 games.
Okay.
And you look on the back, it's 2 fucking discs. Each game is on each disc, not on all.
2 Ultra HD Blu-rays?
2 Ultra HD Blu-rays for a 32 gig game on each of them. So they didn't even put on one disc.
Probably worthwhile. Discs, so. Yeah, probably worthwhile.
So, I mean, if you want physical media, man, I mean, you're better off going with Sony and Nintendo at this point, for now. So,
yes.
And Nintendo's with those cartridges not being 100% sometimes. You got to download like 32 gigs for Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. So
yeah, when what was it, like 2 years after the Switch came out, we started getting those download required for these collections and stuff. Yep. You're not getting that full. It's not a good value proposition. So that's...
Man, we got off on a tangent.
I know. I was about to say, so that's Sony wanting to improve their PlayStation profit margins.
Yeah. Well, that's Totoki also addressed the first-party games, made it clear he feels that releasing them multi-platform, which seemingly was clarified to meaning PC, continues to be the way forward.
I think they said they showed a graph. It was that their multiple platforms was what? VR, PC, cloud, and surprisingly, Metaverse.
Yeah.
I think were the ones that are listed as the different platforms they support right now.
Which is extremely surprising considering they hardly are supporting the PSVR at all.
I mean, they make that shit backwards compatible. And I just fucking found out that there's people that do custom lenses, man, for like people with prescription. That it's like $60 for me to get a custom prescription lens and pop it into Meta Quest 3.
Yeah.
And not even use my glasses. And
PlayStation VR.
They have it for VR 2 also as well. Yeah.
Player One podcast. All 3 of those gentlemen are bespeckled, and I've heard them talking about it over the years. I've never jumped in.
Yeah, I finally found a reputable one that I can order from.
So sorry, you get closer and closer and closer to the Meta Quest. I'm gonna have to start. No, still not tempted.
No, I don't even play VR1 right now. So if I played more VR1,
yeah, maybe. I still got Astrobot. Astrobot sitting on my backlog. Right? What content could I be craving in VR and not that tops Astrobot?
I got a shit ton of PlayStation VR1 games. I'm not buying a VR2. The only thing that I wanted for that Meta Quest 4 is to learn how to play the piano. I was not even playing games. So That's strictly what I'd be using it for, is learn how to play the piano. I wouldn't be using it for anything else.
Are we hoping for a fire sale on the PSVR 2? Like, what are we...
I'm hoping they come back and make a fucking backwards compatible is what I mean. What I want them to do.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we want it to succeed, but...
Yeah, I'm not... I mean, if it's like $100, I'll buy it. Play Resident Evil.
So $100 means you're probably not going to get any more of those games. Are you okay with paying...
I'm okay paying $100. I can play Resident Evil in VR. That's it. That's all. That's only worth it for me.
But you'll still get MetaQuest 3 ports most likely. You'll get that content still coming over. The next Moss will probably be on there. All right, another heavy hitter. Whew. This thing's news heavy as hell. And then we turn the easy story into the longest conversation.
I mean, look, it's like what Brant said. I can just shorten it for you. How much did they lose, Brant? It was like $10 billion.
Yeah.
They didn't hit their sales target for PlayStation 5. They were short like 3 to 5 million. So I think they hit 22 million instead of the 25 million.
Yeah, they're selling consoles, and they're selling a lot of consoles. But the thing is, they're just not making money.
They're looking at the Xbox. This is the Xbox scenario, right? This is what Xbox is looking at.
They said that their first party studios or their first party games are costing too much
way
money.
So too much. They're talking about reining in first party studios and trying to figure out how they can cut costs.
I agree with that.
They even mentioned something about Bungie. They said Bungie needs to be more physically responsible with their games as well. They're starting to call people out. Like this new guy, until I don't know if they're going to keep him or hire somebody else. But that's basically what he's going to do right now until they figure out who the permanent CEO of that outfit's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So right now he's trying to make sure that they don't sit there and waste money in game development and look at stuff that might have to come out day and day on a PC or other platforms like mobile or like the cloud or VR, all those other platforms that they're looking at, and they may start doing that more often. So. And
there's people that are not too happy about that, of course. But I mean, he mentioned specifically that $70 games are already a hard pill to swallow for a lot of the consumers. So continuing to just constantly go up on game prices isn't necessarily a realistic solution.
Make hi-fi rushes, make Helldivers, make Prince of Persia.
Make more of those AA games. I mean, I think it's the time for the high quality AA games to come back.
So the market will adjust back and forth, right? The market demands these sorts of changes, and I think we're really pushing towards that being a thing.
So, I mean, that's basically what the whole press release is about. It was just more bad news.
Yeah.
They didn't hit their sales targets. Their margins are shrinking. So outside of Nintendo, who I think is the number one company in Japan.
Yep.
I think that came out with money-wise. So, I mean, they got it figured out. So, and that's pretty much the whole Sony thing in a nutshell.
Y'all remember when we got a Sly Cooper every year, and we got a Ratchet and Clank every year, and we got a Jak and Daxter, and a SOCOM? People want SOCOM so bad. That Battlefront, if y'all looked at we're going to talk about the Battlefront Classic announcement.
I mean, I was going to ask you about that. Are we all jumping on Battlefront? I never got to live that experience like you and Russell did with Battlefront.
Oh, I've got them both up here. For Xbox.
Are we jumping on this day one? Because it's literally less than a month before they come out. So
they're both backwards compatible on Xbox. I've got them right here and installed.
Online with 64 people though. I also bought the digital copies. That first Battlefront is one of it's in my top 10. I would have to put it in my top 10 favorite games of all time. I fucking love that game.
We could.
This is cross-platform. If we're getting Russell,
it is cross-platform.
I'm asking you: is it cross-platform? Are we getting Russell on this? Do we have to all buy?
So I'm about to say
that's the only way he's going to do it.
We've got to figure it out and make a decision.
I'll buy wherever.
This could be the Warzone killer.
You're capturing a command post. I will happily switch from. I'm already starting to lean.
Hey, and then we wouldn't have to worry about there's 4 people. Now there's six people on. We got to figure out how to break up our groups.
We can take our whole squad to Battlefront. And if it comes out, have y'all seen a price?
No. It's like $34, $44. Really?
It's 35 to 40.
I think I got to look it up.
So that if it was like 15 to 20, I'd say I'd get it on Steam. I'd get it on PS5. We've got to find out exactly how that works.
Get it everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can start jumping into the Nintendo Direct partner showcase.
Yes.
That we've been kind of hinting around this whole time, and we'll kind of just hit through everything to push through this. So they did announce Grounded, which is the Xbox title from Obsidian coming
to what? Coming to what platform?
Coming to Switch April 16th.
Donate my Xbox. I don't need it anymore, even though it's free on that platform for me.
Pentiment will arrive.
Wait, for what?
Tomorrow, actually.
Coming to what?
You're gonna do this?
No! Yeah. My Xbox.
Don't be that person.
I'm throwing this box away. It's right here. It has to be tossed in the trash.
It's 35 euros, so it should be about $40 for that.
Okay,
it's not bad.
But that doesn't mean I'm triple dipping day one. Like I potentially may have it 15 to 20.
No, that's why I'm asking you. We need to find out. I don't know if I don't think it's cross-platform, so we need to find out where we'll all be able to play it on. I know at the end of the day, Russell's going to be Xbox.
I needed to get there. Hold on, I needed to get there because I was getting there before Brant started into the news. Helldivers has friend of the show Russell this close to procuring the PlayStations of the Cincos. He is so caught up in the meta and the Starship Troopers and everything. I mean, he's ready. I've got
Helldivers is fun, man. I enjoy my time with it.
He's got an OLED with a high frame rate. He would immediately benefit from the PS5. I'm like, I'll loan you Ratchet and Clank, anything you want to play out of my library. Final Fantasy 16, which I think is a fantastic game, but he really wants to play Helldivers. And if Battlefront, if we all veered that way, then I'm fine with that too, but we do need to have that discussion as a group because it's going to take over a lot of my life. Go ahead, Brant. We interrupted you once again.
No, I just want to play good Battlefront, not the bullshit when y'all try to get me on the PlayStation 4.
Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist.
This wasn't one of my games of the show. This was a Brant game. As soon as I saw this, I was like, holy shit, this is a Brant game. It looks fantastic.
Summer 2024. This is the... I'm trying to remember.
It's a Brant game.
Yes.
Friends of the show and listeners, you know what Brant likes? This is a Brant game with a beautiful art style. It's like the bosses that you take out, the Humongoli, they become almost like power-ups for your character. So think of like the wolf from Symphony of the Night. When you would get that power-up, like that would be a boss that you would fight that wolf, and then suddenly you would get the wolf or the fog or the bat from Symphony of the Night. This is a Brant-ass game.
It did look like a Brant game.
It looks good. Is it coming to everything else, or is this a Switch exclusive for some reason?
I have not seen this one. Usually they pop up. I haven't looked into this.
I wrote this one down because I was like, holy shit.
Brant, how come you haven't created a stamp that you can stamp on the screen that says Brant approved?
Brant approved.
It's a Brant game.
Yeah.
Brant quality seal of approval or whatever.
Yeah.
The Brant seal of approval.
Arranger, a role puzzling adventure. This is one where you move your character in like squares and everything, and like the whole thing kind of goes like a conveyor belt, moves all at one time while you move your character. Looks kind of interesting. Like
you're slotting vertically and horizontally.
Yeah.
It seemed like that Necrodancer type game, but I don't think it's to a music. It's not
like a
beat.
rhythmy. Yeah.
Great art style though.
We got another thing for another look at Unicorn Overlord, and it got a demo today with more. What is it? A demo. I just saw it coming tomorrow.
Not all the other consoles.
Demo's out now. I sent the demo to my Switch.
Or demo.
It's coming out
Switch,
for
everybody else
PS5 and Xbox tomorrow. Which, as you're hearing this, it's probably
this game looks good.
Then we got a port of a 3DS game, Monster Hunter Stories, coming summer 2024. This one was actually one of my big games of the show. This is Disney's Epic Mickey rebrushed, coming this year, 2024.
This is one of my wife's favorite
2011
games. She loves this game.
Wii. It's just a damn beautiful game, and I know it was very well received on the Wii. So it was amazing to see that we're getting a port of it.
And this is also coming to not just Switch, it's coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox
Oh,
One,
okay.
Xbox Series, and PC. And same thing for Monster Hunter. It's also coming for PS4 and
Was this
Steam.
was this a Peter Molyneux joint?
Warren
Spector, that's who it was. I knew it was one of the podcasts I had listened to. Because he came in with a pitch to Disney, and they were like, actually, we'll give you he was trying to use some obscure license, and they were like, actually, we'll give you Mickey Mouse to do that concept with. It was a good interview on the My Perfect Console podcast.
This got leaked, I think, literally a day or two ago before it got announced here.
This got leaked almost a year ago, man.
I know. I didn't think this was news. I was like,
yeah.
Is this coming? Is this finally coming to Switch? And they're like, no, this is.
I think it got rated. Like a day ago.
They'd been talking about it. Yeah, they'd been talking about it for a while, but it got rated the other couple days.
Like Brand said, it was when the Nvidia leak. Remember, it was on the Nvidia.
Yes, it was.
And these games, the Shin Megami Tensei games, never drop in price. And then you've been able to get this one for like $15, $20 on Amazon. That's how you know something's up. Like, we have all these copies. We're trying to get rid of them.
We are talking about Shin Megami Tensei 5. This is the Vengeance version, the updated, I guess, kind of like definitive edition coming June 21st.
They've done this before where I think they did with 4 when they came out with Apocalypse, where they do an update of the original source game and that in like an after story. As Brant says, this is to be the first time that you can actually play this game that is not locked at 12 frames per second on a Nintendo Switch console. So I'm excited about playing it on a PS5 or a Series X again at 60 frames per second locked, or PC, because they ran Light Duty Hole on Switch. And I advise people not to buy that version unless they clean it up somehow. But this is coming on Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, and Steam. And just to let people know, if you played the original, your save data does not transfer over, so you're fucked. You have to start from scratch again.
It's like a brand new one. I do like Atlas coming out for everything at this point. I love seeing Atlas stuff spread out across every platform.
Well, they started seeing dollar signs and like, what have we been doing?
That's the non-heartwarming gamer take, Brant. Thank you.
They put a couple games on Steam. They're like, wait a minute, people want these games other places?
Brant, right now,
holy crap.
PlayStation Portal's up on Amazon, $199.
Good for it.
Brant!
Yeah, so
think of the Battlefront we could be playing.
Yeah.
Speaking of the game we've been waxing about poetically for the past like 10 minutes, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection coming March 14th.
Almost didn't graduate.
These are the first 2 Battlefront games, the original Battlefront games.
I skipped school to play this game and almost didn't graduate.
We can skip now we can skip Shigoto. We can skip work now and just get fired.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah. Next was a brand new Sword Art Online game, Fractured Daydream, coming later this year, 2024.
Oh, co-op. Co-op's making a huge comeback, and I'm extremely excited for this. Oh, that Battlefront game is available. You can play offline co-op just like we used to back in the day. The campaigns and all that stuff.
So, as somebody who's been buying Sword Art games since the PSP days, this is I don't know if there's anything new in this thing. So,
is it a port of the PSP one, so Brant can play on his PlayStation Portal?
No, because they've been ported over from PSP to Vita. You can play. There's multiple versions on Vita. There's multiple versions on Switch. This is the Sword Art Online game.
Mermy is apparently a fan of Sword Art Online.
Okay.
I'm glad she is, because most people.
Actually, I see Sons of Anarchy ! And now I see Sword Art Online with a correction there. Corrections.
Unlike a friend of the show, Renee, who doesn't feel either way about it, and at one time Borderline says it's crap. So,
Sons of Anarchy.
Sword Art Online. People hate Sword Art Online.
I'm about to say I've heard a couple things, and it makes me go.
People fucking hate
Sword Anarchy Online.
I don't know about that thing.
I love Sword Art Online. I love it to death. Is it original? No, and that's what people shit on it. But
what's the quick Reader's Digest hot take?
No.
We don't have time for this.
No.
No, it literally, the whole premise of the story evolves over the time, but the whole premise is that these people get into the VR game and they get trapped in there, and if you die in the game,
like
you
the
die
Matrix.
for life.
The body cannot live without the brain.
We talked about this before because you went straight to the Matrix reference again. But
did I use that quote?
Yes, you did, because this is actually like the Matrix. And I was like, it's not like the Matrix because it's a regular world outside of it, so it's just people stuck in a video game, not in an actual life simulation inside pods.
Murphy says, here's our hot takes rolling in. Murphy says, not excited for Sons of Anarchy. And also, sword art is beautiful. And Renee says, dot hack ripoff.
Thank you. That sounds like Renee, yeah.
Yeah.
Our community has spoken.
Next up, we have Gundam Breaker 4. It's where you get to build and battle your own Gundam.
Do I have to have played Gundam Breaker 1 through 3?
I think you'll be all right.
Gundam Breaker 3 is really fucking good. But this is just you building Gundams, right? I think this
yeah.
I watched
what are these on?
Based off the anime.
What are Gundam Breaker 1 through 3 on? It was a joke at first.
I think it's on everything, right?
They were on a beta. I think 1 and 2 were beta games, and then 3 was the one that came on like beta and PS4, and then they kind of started spreading them out because I think there's like new Gundam Breaker which came out on everything after that. It's a lot of weird ones coming in between there. So this is like a one of those bi-yearly type games. So. But Gundam Breaker 3 was really fucking good. I'm glad to see that they're coming back to it. So I don't know why they skipped Xbox this time. It's coming on Switch, PS4, and PC.
Here's a crazy game for you. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble coming out June 25th.
I thought this was some sort
which
of
will have
compilation.
a 16-player multiplayer modes.
It's a brand new game. I thought it was a
200 courses.
I thought it was a retread of sorts, like what they've been doing for the past 10 years. This is a brand new one.
It's not the... I think so far this has only been announced for Switch, so...
Yeah.
Hopefully it's geared towards... So, a quick overview of the Super Monkey Ball franchise. It was an arcade thing, and then it launched on GameCube, and then they started porting it everywhere. But everyone hates all the versions outside of the GameCube because of the analog controls on the GameCube controller. So they've never been able to really reproduce that sort of tactile...
Yeah. But didn't Traveler's Tales try to do that weird thing with it, and they made it like some other thing with it?
Super Monkey Ball Adventure?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, where they were like, oh, we're going to bring in this weird direction, and that everybody seems to forget and bury
PS2, PS2, GameCube, and PSP, I think, for those.
Now Traveler's Tales just make like Lego games for
Lego
brothers,
Factory.
Yeah.
Hey, more Super Monkey Ball. It's a popular franchise.
Hey.
And still has been 20 years later.
Tell me about this WiiWare game that we're finally getting a sequel about.
World of Goo 2 coming May 23rd, and it's going to be a console exclusive.
Has there never been another World of Goo on anything else outside of WiiWare? I thought for sure it'd been somewhere else.
Game, right? Yeah. That's like one of the first or the first.
Yeah,
right?
that was one of the big indie push.
Yeah.
You can download it straight to your system.
Next up,
Sonic the Hedgehog instead.
Next up was Fantasy Life: The Girl Who Steals Time, October 10th. This just looks like Animal Crossing, but with also like fantasy battling elements to it. There's also 4-player co-op.
Yay!
Another Crab's Treasure coming April 25th. This was a Souls-like.
I had to look at it twice. I was like, they make a Souls game based off SpongeBob? And I was like, oh,
it was so SpongeBob looking. Yeah.
I had to look twice. I was like, is this SpongeBob?
You play as a hermit crab trying to get his original shell back, and he constantly picks up like pieces of trash and debris to be his new shell, which give him like different abilities. Very
cool game mechanic. It looks good.
Oh, this came out today.
Speaking of looking good, I know we're all excited.
Yeah.
Penny's Big Breakaway. This is a very like Sega Saturn, like upgraded looking game.
Mm-hmm.
From the makers of Sonic Mania.
Oh, and Richard, you saw them online too. They said was it PS5, Xbox Series ones are 4K 120. Just to let you know.
I was thinking about Steam Deck because Digital Foundry's been on this bandwagon for a long time.
They said Steam Deck is stuck at 90 frames per second, but they said it's 120 on the consoles, on the new current gen consoles.
Physical copy yet, or only digital still?
It's digital only, but I'm sure it's a matter of time. I think it's $29. So.
Have we said the name yet? Okay.
Yeah, Brand was super excited about
Penny Hardaway's Big Breakaway.
Yep, exactly right.
Basketball player.
I caught that immediately. Yes.
Breakaway is definitely a basketball term.
You literally described a Super Nintendo game. I could have probably
very hard. The highly anticipated follow up to Michael Jordan's adventure in the Battle in the Windy City, or whatever they called that thing.
I'm not gonna get off topic, but was that a fucking beat 'em up?
Yes,
Like that?
And it was right? It was what's her name's first game, the Uncharted lady. Yes, it was Amy Hennig's first game.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Deep cut. No, it looks amazing. As Brant said, imagine a Sega Saturn game, but like the Sonic game,
like a good platforming.
The Sonic game we should have got on Saturn. Yeah.
Yeah.
As they were trying to constantly figure out what 3D Sonic looked like on Saturn.
Like the design definitely looks very Sega Saturn, but at least the resolution looks a lot more smoothed out, a lot nicer. But I mean, you literally you see dots, you see gems, you see like these big old rings and stuff that you can fly through, like knights in the trailer, and it looks damn good.
Brand, you said it perfectly. You look at it, it's a Sega Saturn game. That's what it is.
It does.
It's a modern day Sega Saturn game.
Looks like a modern day Sega Saturn game.
That's what it is.
So they made Sonic Mania. Are they not doing anything else for Sega? Because this is kind of like a fuck you, look what we can do type title, right?
I remember reading somewhere about something where when they went and made that recent Sonic collection, I don't know, they weren't asked to come back or something like that. I can't remember what it was, and this is why they made this. It was something to that extent, where they're like, yeah, it wasn't like a fuck you to like Sega, or it was like, yeah, we didn't have any part with this, unfortunately, or blah blah blah. That's what he says. Kind of like he kind of like sidestepped it, like they weren't asked to do anything more with Sonic.
So a subtle fuck you.
They went and made this instead. Basically, yeah. I mean, it will be when this game sells Game Busters.
It's gonna be,
which it probably will. Yeah. Because a lot of people were excited about this, and they were like,
"It's $30 on
when this shit was coming
PS5 and Xbox and Switch."
Yeah. It may be cheaper with PlayStation Plus. I think there's a discount right now.
I'm tempted.
I get paid Friday.
Because I definitely want this game physically too.
I'll double dip. I'll buy the digital on PlayStation and buy the physical on like Switch or something like that.
Next up is a game that Cesar had been talking about months ago. Suika game multiplayer mode expansion is coming. Paid DLC, local 2-player battle modes. This is like the little fruit matching game where you continuously drop new fruits together. They combine. It's I don't know. It's like Puyo Puyo, but not Puyo Puyo.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
Puyo Puyo Jason, as you would say.
Pepper Grinder coming out March 28th. Demo is out today. This kind of looks like a side-scrolling action meets Mr. Driller kind of deal. Looks pretty interesting. Okay, I thought this was a 3DS. It is not. It was a iOS game. This is Pocket Card Jockey. Ride On, out on Switch today. I believe this is a was this Game Freak?
Game Freak joint, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this came out on I remember we saw this somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if this was a port or it was an iOS exclusive sequel to that. I think this came out on the Apple Arcade maybe or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
When we first saw it, I think that's what it was.
Contra Operation Galunga, March 12th, with a demo out now. It's a brand new Contra game.
It's a way forward Contra game.
Then they ended with the last 2 announcements. All of these games are out today. They're a bunch of Rare titles.
Oh, see what you did there.
From the developer Rare. So we have Snake Rattle and Roll, RC Pro-Am, Battletoads, Killer Instinct, and Blast Corps.
Before we go on, Brent, that was that Pocket Card Jockey was originally a 3DS game in Japan. So
it was a 3DS game.
Apparently, we're getting these 3DS ports now in this generation now at this point.
Because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, God, that looks like a 3DS
Remember
game.
people crying about that as soon as the Switch came out? It's like, we don't want this on 3DS. We want the Switch version.
Sounds right.
And last but certainly not least, well, actually, it does. There are some additional titles. Let me go over these first, real quick.
Oh yeah, the Rolodex of like.
Yeah, what was that? It was like a sizzle reel, right? Like a.
Yeah. There's a Demon Slayer.
Mario Party. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Yes, you know you have it's a Mario Party.
It does look like a Mario Party thing. Kingdom Come Deliverance,
which I'm
Royal
interested in
Edition.
how the fuck they got running on Switch. But let's go.
You looked at it, right?
It is. I said running and say running great.
Propped it up, smoke and mirrors.
It's like Grounded. I see running and it was running great. It did look like a PS3 game. I was like, damn, we're back.
It looked like PS3. It was rough.
I'm excited, man. I'm kind of excited about playing a PS3 game on Switch.
And then what is that? Snufukin? Melody Snufkin?
Snufkin?
I don't know. Valley. Melody of Moon Valley?
Yeah.
That's just a weird ass name.
It's just a bunch of words pushed together in compounds.
It just looks like gibberish. And then, of course, last but not least, the game that Richard's Spawn ceremoniously dragged from the deep, endless ocean.
I have a library of thousands of titles, and 2 weeks ago, my child was looking through the library and picked out Endless Ocean, Dive, Discover, and Dream.
For the Wii.
For the Wii, a very obscure and dead franchise, right? Would you say?
Yes.
And started playing this and enjoyed the peaceful nature of just swimming around and looking at sea creatures and all that sort of stuff. And here's a brand new one with up to 30 players online and 500 species of marine life, including extinct creatures. I was like, holy hell, how did this happen? Were there 2 of these? I feel like there were 2 Endless Oceans.
I don't know.
Do I have 2? I feel like there's an Endless Ocean 2. Murray says, Demon Slayer 2. They're excited about that. Sure, everybody's like, what is this Endless Ocean series?
Endless Ocean. Yep, 2. Adventures of the Deep. There was a second one.
I think we have the second one as well. Blue World. Endless Ocean Blue World. These were published by Nintendo, but they're developed by Arika.
That title that I saw, The Adventures of the Deep, is the PEGI.
The PEGI rating? PEGI 18.
It is the European version.
My daughter will be extremely excited. Buish says, Wii Legend, Endless Oceans, and Wii with 2 eyes. I guess something auto-corrected. Yes. That's it. Did you ever play this, Buish? Endless Oceans. You just dive around. It doesn't even use the nunchuck. I have prepared to get her the nunchuck out, and you just use the Wiimote to move around and
just waggle it.
One of their friends was like, "This game's boring," and she stayed down here and played it. She played it for hours, and she's done another session. So I do know she at least digs the Endless Ocean. So probably when I show her that, it's gonna be game over. I gotta get the new Endless Ocean game. Oh God, we're still not done with news. How late are we into this thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're done with we're done with that. We just got to get through these game catalogs.
That was a great partner direct, right? There was a bunch of new stuff and rare titles coming to the online service that we already subscribed to.
The thing that was a little bit of bullshit was the fact that Japan got Mother 3, and
we still never get Mother 3.
Added to their Nintendo Online
service.
So
we have access to that. You have access to the Japanese Nintendo Switch Online with your current membership. So technically...
Richard, did y'all see that fucking Simpsons quote with the 3?
No.
What was it?
I'll send it to you on Twitter. It's pretty good.
God.
It's like Lisa Simpson's running the room with Bart passed out. It's like, we're getting Mother 3 on Nintendo Switch Online, and Bart wakes up speaking in Japanese about the year Mother 3 release.
Oh, damn.
I was like... It was like Mother 3 released in September, 2006.
Oh, that's good shit. 2006 for Game Boy Advance.
It's all in Japanese. It's funny.
Yeah.
They're all excited. We got Mother Switch 3 online.
Jeez, that's it. That is how we're eventually going to get it, right?
I was about to say, if they ever give it to us, because they just got GoldenEye over there, which never released over there. If we ever get it, that's how it's going to be. We're not going to get a physical edition. Nothing going to be special. It's just going to be thrown into the online.
I am looking at a physical copy right now on the Game Boy Advance on my shelf. So
just like that Earthbound Zero for Wii U that we got, right?
I just sent it to you guys if you want to look at the little
I see.
thing. But yeah. So did we end up finishing in the Nintendo?
We did. We're done.
Yes, Nintendo is.
What'd you think, Cesar? What was your takes on it?
It was alright. They announced another game, Japanese game, like a RPG, that it's coming from Fuyu Entertainment that looked pretty good, which I'm assuming we'll eventually get over here at some point. I think it's coming on PS4, PS5, and Switch as well.
What was the guitar thing I saw announced in the Japanese show?
I wanted to look at it some more. I think they announced a couple things in the Japanese show that I had to look at and see what exactly it entails to, but I saw the tweet pop up and I never actually got a chance to look at it.
I feel like I saw a guitar that was like a what was that thing called? Ring Fit Adventure style accessory. You clip the Joy-Con onto like a guitar.
Hey man, look man, I'm proud of myself because I'm looking at that Japanese in there from Bart Stalking and I can read all that shit.
Good.
So.
There you go.
I'm looking at it as like I understand the joke.
Flexing your Japanese knowledge for us.
Hey man, as many hours as I put into it.
Hey man.
It's finally paying off.
All right, I'm going to go through these PlayStation Plus games. This is your PlayStation Plus game catalog for February.
These are the extra
and premium titles. We already had the regular ones, which was Foam Stars.
And
those other two. Need for Speed Unbound, The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition, Tales of Arise, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Lego Worlds, Lego Jurassic World, Rogue Book, Rogue Lords. It's the Rogue games, the Rogue collection. We get Rogue Spear next. Tales of Zestiria. And for PlayStation Premium, you get Resistance Retribution, the PSP title. And Tales of Symphonia. That is there's a weird graphic underneath Resistance Retribution. It looks like Jet Moto or something.
Yeah, it's Jet Moto.
Oh, okay. That
that
bit did not even pop up for me. It just goes straight to Tales of Symphonia. Jet Moto 2, that's awesome. Tales of Symphonia for PS4 and PS5, and Tales of Vesperia for PS4 and PS5.
And I played Jet Moto 2 for like an hour last night, and I'm like, this game is still not good.
You're not a Jet Moto fan?
I played 1 for like an hour. I was like, what? I don't remember. I remember playing this in the demo a lot. I was like, I remember having fun with this. It's like I was like, no, maybe 2's better. I was like, 2 is not.
Skip 2, go to 3.
Just like Castlevania.
Yeah, let's do that.
And Zelda. And Super Mario Brothers. Sure, I'll throw it out there.
I don't know. I like Super Mario Brothers USA.
USA? Super Mario Brothers USA? Last but not least, your Game Pass games. I'll pound through these real quick. Available today, Return to Grace for Cloud Console and PC. Tales of Arise for Cloud Console and PC. Coming soon, Bluey the video game. That's supposed to have easy achievements, so people are joking about everybody's going to be playing Bluey the game. Maneater. I feel like this has been available in everything forever.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think of Hall of Notes every time I say that. So.
Sing some for us, Cesar.
Yeah.
She's a man-eater. Speaking of man-eaters, Madden NFL 24 is coming to Cloud and EA Play on February 27th. Indivisible. It's like a RPG making a return to Game Pass library. Space Engineers for Cloud Console and PC on February 29th. That is a made-up date. Do not adhere to February 29th. That doesn't exist. Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun is coming March 5th to Cloud Console and PC.
Both of you guys have Game Pass,
yes.
Right? I both want you to download and play Bolt Gun. Bolt Gun is very good.
It's very good.
Okay.
It is like a fucking 90s like Duke Nukem type game. It's done very well.
About a month ago, Russell, a friend of the show, Russell and I went to an actual Warhammer shop where they sold all the little miniatures and the game boards and everything, and I was like, this is definitely not something I can collect. This will be another hobby on top of hobbies.
Yeah.
Just play this game.
It's not
good.
cheap.
Yeah, we'll download this one. No, it's not.
Never was.
In case you missed it, Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass on March 28th. Did they say whether that's Game Pass Core and above, or
I don't think it's Core.
One?
It's everybody else.
I think it would say. I think it
would
say Core on there. I imagine.
Yeah.
It would say, yeah.
DLC updates for Microsoft Flight Simulator. You get the Dune expansion, so friend of the show Sly will be interested in that. There's a few Xbox Game Pass Ultimate perks, and then leaving February 29th to Game Pass, Madden NFL 22.
God bless Microsoft Flight Simulator. The only thing you can fly in the world of Dune.
Is that dragonfly looking thing?
Ornithopter.
Then you sit to get the fucking sandworms coming at your ass. I'm like, this doesn't look anything like Earth.
It is
Let's
an ornithopter.
go, you know?
Have y'all seen that first Dune movie?
Yes.
Yes.
It's good?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
He is damn good. Yeah, it's that director. I love that.
Go get that popcorn bucket.
Dune 2 has a Rotten Tomatoes of like 97 right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ornithopter, yep, as you guys mentioned. And leaving Game Pass is Madden NFL 22 and Soul Hackers 2. I feel like those have been on the service for quite some time.
Yes.
I mean, shit, we're on Madden NFL 25 territory, so I think it's about time. So.
What, August? But they're going to start drumming up pre-orders right around right now, right after the Super Bowl. Pre-Super Bowl and after Super Bowl, they're going to be drumming up pre-orders.
Think we'll get Mahomes and Brady on the cover again?
Sure, why not? Could get Justin Fields as an Atlanta Falcon on the cover.
Oh,
you want Justin Fields?
I've been deep in the whole thing that everybody believes that Kirk Cousins is coming to the Falcons. So it's multiple analysts are believing.
We've been making fun of him for so long. I don't want Kirk Cousins.
I'm okay with Kirk Cousins because I prefer him versus Aaron Rodgers because at least Kirk Cousins owns his
stupidity.
I'm not going to say that because some people will get offended. I'm just saying he owns what he says versus
his stupidity.
Who weaves a gentle story about what they really are trying to say.
I'm smarter than you. I'm not going to really tell you. It's out there in books and stuff that I've read. I'm not going to tell you where I got that from.
Brand, I'm immunized. Did you get vaccinated? I'm immunized.
Via, like, mosquitoes or wasps or something. Games played. Thus commence my anniversary begging. I'm going to start anniversary begging right now. I played 2 games that deserve anniversary versions. Microsoft. One of them being Halo 3. I know we've run up this banner on the podcast before wanting a Halo 3 anniversary because damn.
Good luck.
Yeah, it sucks. And I realized that this year is the 20th anniversary of Halo 2 coming out because I sold that game when it came out and it's already been 20 years somehow. Imagine that. And we got Halo 2 anniversary 10 years ago. We're just as far out from Halo Master Chief Collection coming out as we were Master Chief Collection coming out from Halo 2 launching. That, I'm not ready for that type of time gap knowledge. I hate that. Russell and I, during lunch, my aggravation with Warzone has grown tremendously, and I will not be talking about Call of Duty Warzone during this podcast. We had fun with it last night. I enjoyed my time with you guys.
Hey, I won a whole bunch with Russell.
Yeah, you guys cleaned. Yeah, you guys cleaned up, and you guys can discuss that. I'm just not like, as I've been doing it for lunch breaks and like downtime. We wanted something a lot more chill than the frustration and I can't believe that. Why didn't I just didn't want that. So we've picked up Halo 3 campaign, starting that from the beginning where Master Chief falls crashing to Earth off of the. You have to have read the comic in between Halo 2 and Halo 3. You have to have waited 4 years and read a comic and figured out he was on this dreadnought Covenant ship for 2 weeks and then he came flying out of it. But the netcode is still jacked on Halo Master Chief Collection. So this was a whole thing with myself and friend of the show, Russell. The way we were playing is that I created the party, right? And then I would invite him to the game. And he's like, dude, I can't play this. It's unplayable. So then we started troubleshooting his network. We restarted routers. We had him lock into the 5 gigahertz signal of his routers, all sorts of stuff. And he was still playing. He's like, this is unplayable. It's laggy as hell. So we get online, we start searching. Halo 3 specifically has some sort of weird latency unless you have a perfect ideal network connection and conditions. The way the server works is it's going to like make a hiccup to try to bring it to sync, right? So I was like, all right, let's try something. You invite me to the game. I'll be the monster. I'll be the arbiter. You invite me to the game, and we'll see if it's the same thing. And I saw it because we both have OLEDs, we both have Series X's, so we were trying to roll out all sorts of stuff. And I saw it, and I'm usually very sensitive to that, but apparently it was not as bad as what he was experiencing. So I stayed as the monster, and there's some weird lag. I'll have a clip where it's like 8 seconds per frame, where just something's blowing up, and I'm sitting there like, did everything pause? Is nothing happening? But it's relaxing, despite the technical weirdness of that game and how it's still not ironed out. But it's a great campaign. I'm enjoying the music and the atmosphere, and When it runs smooth, it's buttery smooth, 120 frames. It's gorgeous. The other anniversary report I'm going to beg for is myself and friend of the show, Jeremy, fired up Gears of War 2, which absolutely needs an anniversary version. In Unreal Engine 5, I would pay $200 right now for that campaign in Unreal Engine 5. It's a major step up in storytelling, art direction, character development from the first Gears of War, and coming off the technical feat that was Gears of War Ultimate, the Coalition's first crack at Xbox One hardware. The scope and scale of this is so much more. It's more bombastic. It's more in depth. And even with that original version that we're playing, like we're playing the upscaled original Xbox 360 version, right? You could still see where they could sprinkle in updated assets and color and HDR and just all the improvements we've had over the past 15-ish years at this point. 18 years maybe since Gears 2. What was that? 08? 14 years? So, we beat the first act. So, of course, Dom in this game is searching for Maria, his wife. And Buish does not know how this plays out. So we'll be seeing how this goes.
It's
an
interesting story.
It's a good story.
It's really a great story, and I'm immediately they give you so much more depth into. I don't know if it's a mystery that they want to when you first in Gears of War, the first one, when Dom gets Marcus out of prison. There's not a whole lot of backstory. Like why is he getting out of prison? Hoffman. He doesn't get along with Hoffman. Where is this going? And you just get a better sense of that universe right off the rip in Gears 2 as it's introducing more characters. We did the level with Dizzy where you're on these big. So there's a new enemy in Gears 2 that's sinking cities, and we're trying to figure out. We took the light mass bomb to the Locust at the end of the first one. We're trying to figure out why this thing is sinking cities. So what they've decided to do is take these big giant walker things like a AT type deal, and they'll shoot these pills down into the Locust horde, and we've got a place we're going to head to called Landdown, and we're going to shoot down in there and try to find the best route to find Maria and also end the Locust threat, right? So immediately you have that's the second mission, I believe, like Act 2 of the first, or Chapter 2 of the first act, where you're defending that walker. You're on top of it. It's moving along the countryside, and you're looking around, and different waves of locusts are coming at you, and the reavers are flying at you, and it's so much more than you ever got in that first game, just in one level of content. It's really good. I think Buish is a big fan of this one too. But we had some weird glitches. I need to try to post one of the videos that he took. Even this game's 14 years old, and there's patches for it for some reason. I'm assuming it's like network stability. But he would get on the turret on this gun, and all of a sudden his character was like sunken down into the geometry. So as he's like moving around, as he's moving this turret around, nothing is lining up because the gun is like deeper down into the geometry of the level in the ship that he's not supposed to be at. And at one point you could see his character hovering, and Dizzy, the character, you're not supposed to see him. He's underneath. He's like piloting the ship, but Buish is like standing right on top of him, holding this turret and trying to shoot. And we failed. We failed an objective to get across a bridge. And I think it's because it didn't recognize either where we were or where he was at with the gun. It was just, it was hijinks. The last thing I'm going to touch on, the Tomb Raider Remastered collection came out, which is Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. Oh, Cesar shakes his head. Cesar's going to touch on it too, maybe.
No,
fuck that game even.
Damn.
Look, I played that first level, man, and then the controls are tank-like.
Yes.
And so I literally, there's that bit where you have to, with the wolves and with the Kami and the Kuma, and you have to like climb up the tower and do those intricate jumps.
Yeah.
So I played for 1 hour. I walked into the hallway and I turned right too much where the camera didn't turn, and I walked into the wall and I was stuck and I couldn't reset the game, and I didn't save it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I couldn't get out the wall. I was stuck inside the wall, and no matter how I turned around, she was in there. I couldn't get out. So I said, fuck this game. I'm not playing it again until they fix it.
So I made a lot of progress and then ended up I tried to save, and I didn't realize I was on the save screen. You've got like a save screen and a load screen, and I saved. I loaded. Instead of saving, I loaded a previous one, and I lost like 30 minutes of progress. I'm in that same first area. I think this is a really, really well done remaster. There are some bugs, but switching between, I was talking about Halo 3 needing an anniversary edition. You hit the start. I'm playing on Steam Deck. I ended up getting a cheaper Steam copy than anything. And you can hit the start button on Steam. I don't know what that is, like the 3 lines maybe. It's the one on the right.
Nobody knows what any of the buttons do with start and call.
I still call them start and select. The one on the left is select. The one on the right is start.
It's a fucking different name on every fucking console out there. It doesn't matter.
Share,
it's start.
Create.
No, it's start. It's the one on the right.
Menu.
If I say select, you'll know it's the one on the left with the D-pad.
Start and select, baby.
No, Richard. We don't want those purists to come out there and tell about Cross and X.
Please come to me, and I'll put your DMCA up next to my Spectrum one from downloading the Japanese film.
I usually give them an email address that I don't man and say voice all your complaints there.
Yes, that email is actually nofodcast@gmail.com.
Now I'll give them a fake one and be like, nofodcast at.
Oh man! Oh, they'll know that's fake. They'll know that's fake. They'll start reaching out to Gmail.
AOL.
Hey, my Final Fantasy 14 account.
Oh, here we go.
So, yeah.
I forgot it's tied back there from like 2 decades.
Yeah. It's still alive. I still log in my Hotmail account. It just takes me to Outlook.com.
So if you hit start on the Tomb Raider Remastered collection, I've just played the first game. It switches between like the remastered, what they've decided is like the artistic vision of how the mind's eye would think that looks, right? Versus the pixelated.
It's like your Halo
just like Halo. I fucking love that. If that's in a game and you can switch between those, I love it so much. And I look at them back and forth and I just compare.
There's another game that I've been trying to get you to play that also does that too, and you refuse.
I'm not playing Alice Kid. I know where this is fucking going. As soon as I said what, I was like, here we go. I know it's gonna be fucking.
Press the same fucking button, and it goes back into the Alice Kid from the Genesis version.
No, I'm gonna play the Monster Boy. I'll play the Monster Boy games that do that too. But it's impressive to see this running concurrently like that, and it's got. I talk about Ocarina of Time 3D, but that's not as extreme of an example as like Halo Anniversary and this Tomb Raider remaster. Then I find out, I think we talked about this a year or two ago, that Open Laura project where they were bringing that first Tomb Raider to like Jaguar and Engage. Oh, it was already on Engage.
Game Boy
Advance. That was the big one, was Lara Croft Advance. But they hired this guy. They were like, let's bring this guy in. He gives a shit and really cares. The Open Laura guy is like the lead producer on this collection. They hired a fan person. Y'all didn't read that anywhere? He's the person. He's the one they brought in for this collection. They recognized. They didn't shut him down. He just like, he came out and was like, here's why I haven't been working on Open Laura anymore, and it's not been ported to any more bizarre systems like 3DO. That's the other one I was trying to think of.
So that's, and I don't want to derail your conversation on there, but that's common.
Yeah.
It's like they had, Peter Durante Thoman, he spent all his time like removing the Novo from all those games on PC and fixing the PC ports of games like Dark Souls and stuff like that. And at this point now, the Trails games, they like Napunichi Software America actually hired him to just port the Trails games over to PC. He's been doing that the last 5 years. They actually say, hey, instead of you just doing this illegally, we'll pay you money to fix the shit.
Why not? It's like hackers, right?
So that's a common thing. It's like, that's what people have been doing recently. Yeah, they've just been like, hey, you've been doing this, like you're good at it. Here, just port our games over legally.
It's that version of Catch Me If You Can, where the FBI ended up hiring that guy afterwards. But I should know that person's name. That's who they're using for this collection, and it is so awesome switching between those two. I lost some progress, so I got frustrated like Cesar did, but that's...
No, fuck that game, man.
And you have to play... I feel like you have to play with the tank controls. Like, we laughed about it last week, but I don't think it's meant for that. Digital Foundry pointed this out, too, and I didn't think of it that way until like, seeing it presented that way, but that's the way the game is meant to be played. It's a grid-based game. It's like a 3D Prince of Persia. You remember the original Prince of Persia's where you had to line up the jump exactly, jump out, he would grab the ledge and pull himself up on the ledge. Like, it's meant to be viewed in this grid-based 2D platforming style of movement. You're not meant to have free-roaming, Uncharted, look for the yellow blinking area and jump across to that. Like, it's just not designed that way. But I think this collection is masterfully done. As Cesar said, there's some bugs, there's some things that need to be ironed out. The F&Bs still look like hot shit, especially in 16:9. Those didn't, to me, those did not get touched up.
It doesn't look. It's barely touched up, but it doesn't look bad. I like switch back and forth. It is more blurry on the OG version.
But it is so cool. I'm nostalgic for those games. We bought a Gateway computer many years ago, and that was my first, like, PC, I guess modern PC gaming. Was we got that Tomb Raider collection and the Thief games. I know I've talked about this before. We got a bunch of IDOS games with that Gateway computer.
We know about your love of Thief.
I do love me some Thief, early Thief. And that thing had a DVD-ROM in it, so we watched The Matrix on it. We were that household sitting around the computer, the Gateway computer, watching The Matrix on DVD. It's really well done, and I am done anniversary begging. We got a great one with that Tomb Raider collection. I think that's a great way of preserving those games. I believe all three of us have access to those first 3 games at least, with various consoles and TVs and such, but I was skeptical, and I feel like this is the reason I need to touch on it, is because when they first announced this, and I was looking at the art style and what they chose, and I'm looking at it like, I don't know if this is right. Something is just off. But when you're playing it, and you see it in motion, and you see, it's like the mind's eye Laura, and it still has that engine running behind it, but with a nice new coat of paint, and I think it's masterfully well done. Well worth the $23 I got it for Steam from CD Keys. Thank you, CD Keys.
And I know a friend of the show, Renee, is a big fan of the old school.
Oh, he likes those?
Probably like it as well. He played the shit out of the Dreamcast one all the time. Like that style.
That's where I was going. I wonder if Tomb Raider Chronicles and Last Revelation and maybe Angel of Darkness end up on a. Those are not well loved. Maybe the labor of love of this person that helped with Open Lara and helped bring this game out. Maybe they'll come over and help with those games. Those other. Was it Lara Croft fatigue at that point? There's like one every year, and they just kind of got uninspired. They killed her in one of those, didn't they? Didn't they like seal her off in a tomb in one of them before bringing her back?
I don't know, man. I was never like a huge Tomb Raider fan because it always moved too slowly for me, and I was not a big fan of the tank controls.
So I think it worked out well. I know exactly what you're saying because you and I played the PS1 games like 10 years ago. We were messing around with that, and we had the infinite screaming glitch where she was screaming nonstop to her.
She jumps off the waterfall.
It just cycled the screaming death over and over and over. But when we got that computer I was talking about, we got that IDOS collection. Oh, Commandos. Commandos was another one of those games we got. That must have been a great deal. I need to look back and see if I see that in an ad or something. But I played it with my stepsister, and we didn't play a whole lot of games with each other. There was a kid down the street that had an N64, so that was my introduction to like Smash Brothers, and I know we played Pokemon Snap, and of course Mario Kart 64 and Glover. We played a lot of Glover down there, but Tomb Raider was slow enough to where 2 people could play it together. It wasn't super twitch heavy where, it required precise movement, and it does with its platforming, but the puzzles lent itself to where 2 people could watch together and discuss like what to do next and where to go and that sort of thing. And I have good memories of us playing that together. And some embarrassing Warzone, but those are my games played this week.
I mean, outside of Warzone, those couple of rounds that we played in the afternoon that Richard couldn't join us because he had to get ready for Gears. We won a couple of those back to back with some rando.
Y'all cut the fat. You didn't need me.
Which I think we ended up doing Vulnerable the whole time because I don't know, Mills left it on there. We ended up pulling a rando. He was a really cool dude. He's like, he's like, can I keep gaming with you guys? And I think Mills sent him a friend request. The rando was a hit. Oh, yeah. I feel like that hasn't happened in so long. Yeah, he was real cool. Yeah. Because I think like one of the matches we had like 18 kills altogether, all 4 of us. So I was like, it was crazy. We actually won one over the fire station with no issues. Yeah, it was
fire station dub.
Outside of the one we struggled just to have one that Jeremy won for us on Saturday night.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it since. We talked about the Tomb Raider one and talked about when I got stuck. I'm not going to talk about it again because that was aggravating. I did encounter the same issue as Richard, where it tends to put you to the load passport before it does to the save one, when you have to hit down one more time to get to the save one, which is kind of stupid.
And I thought I was saving my progress, like, hell yeah, I just got past this tricky part, and then it loaded me like 30 minutes previous. This is not what I was trying to do.
Yeah. I'll eventually go back to it once, maybe, hopefully they'll patch out some of those rough edges on there. Outside of that, I think I've just been playing more Final Fantasy VII Remake, trying to get through it before Rebirth comes out. I think I'm about like halfway through the game now. I was just playing on easy, so it's mostly just going through for the story at this point. And the battles are like literally me pressing the button once, because I'm like level 45 with everybody. I think the max is 50.
Oh, you level up that quick on easy? I need to do the same thing.
Oh, I did, yeah. I mean, but I did a save carryover.
Oh, okay, it's like a new game plus thing.
It's literally even faster. It's faster for me. You have to start from scratch, so it's gonna be a little bit.
I got you.
I don't have to actually play with any strategy. I just go in there, and they're dead.
Ooh.
So it's, yeah, exactly that noise on there. Some stuff I can talk about on there that is, there's some stuff on there that I forgot about on there. I like Wedge, Biggs, and Jesse a lot in this game. I feel like they're more expanded, and they give you more backstory. There's still a bit where you don't know a lot of those characters, because there's a part in the game where you have to play in hard mode to get more of the documents lying around to find out more of their personal lives. Because I looked at it and Cloud's like, I've got everything I need. I don't need to look at this. And I was like, and when I looked it up, it's like you can only unlock it in hard mode. I was like, fuck.
Huh.
So it's like you don't get that extra tidbit of some of the characters in that room that happens. Branch, you probably know what I'm talking about for a certain part. I do like how Cloud started out as I think he was more straight laced in the PlayStation version for a while, until Nebulum, right? Yeah. Until he starts to kind of loosen up, and then in this remake, you notice he loosens up a lot more quickly. So he like a lot of people like judge him like, hey, you're too stern and blah, and you see him like he's trying. You can actually tries to reconnect with Tifa and stuff like that. And I think I like Tifa. I think she's a lot better written in this remake too. She's a lot more likable, more quickly.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff that I kind of see the second time around. It's like, yeah, I played the first one, the original, so many times. It's like it's the Manchurian candidate for me at this point. But like playing this the second time on the remake, going through it again, it's like, I forgot about this part. Oh yeah, I do like this part a lot. So I mean, it makes sense because you spend Midgar for that whole first 40 to 50 hours. So versus the original, which was like the first 20 hours probably at best.
Maybe that's
Midgar,
the first disc. So. No.
Like 15 hours, maybe.
It's like half of the first disc. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of milk that part on there. So that was some stuff that I kind of playing through the second time I've noticed on there that I do like. Outside of that, I mean, I don't think there's anything I've really. Well, I did play some Helldivers, so I have been playing.
Please touch on Helldivers. Tell us about Helldivers.
Helldivers is really good, man. It's I think right now there's 2 different universes, like which I always think is funny because there's always somebody on fucking was it Twitter trying to get somebody to get onto the Mechon side, because everybody's fighting the bugs right now, but nobody's want to fight the robots, and the robot ones are fucking chaotic. Those are the ones that like everybody does those videos about. It's fucking lasers everywhere. Is that
the one you sent us with the dude getting like sniped out of the screenshot of the screen?
That's in that Mechon universe. Yeah. So I think those are the 2 ones on there. So like the matchmaking is kind of broken. So it's like there's a couple on there I get with randos ever so often that when it does work. And the people I did play with are pretty fun. Outside of the one guy that just kept screaming democracy all the time and started killing everything for the last 15 minutes. But, that was the only weird one out there. Which he clearly sounded like he was high school. So, which is fine because I'd rather take someone screaming democracy instead of saying.
Yeah, well, we usually get if we're listening to the Prox chat on Warzone.
Yeah. But I mean, each one has different base. It depends on the mission, so each mission is different. So a lot of times you have to reroute fuel, and then you have to keep. So you have somebody up there put a QT events into like a console to reroute fuel to complete a task, and you have bugs all around, and then you have basically your teammates are kind of make sure they give you the space and to get the task done. And you can call these drop shipments where you do drop shipments to drop weapons. It's like Starship Troopers. It's very much, if you've seen Starship Troopers, it's very much like that. You call.
I need to watch it
Or like
again.
even like fucking Halo. Or even like Halo ODST, like they do the orbital drop ship, shock troopers. It's the same fucking thing. You summon people in that way. When they die, you summon them back like that. They just drop another person.
And I've seen someone said, "Hey, we had a concept for this, and it was shot down."
Yeah, by Microsoft.
Bunch of Halo concepts shot down.
But Sony's pretty good about letting people make what they want usually. Usually. But yeah, I mean, so each one's different mission-based ones. So like I said, the difficulty goes up, and it's really more fun to play. I mean, it's impossible to play any of those levels single player. You can, but it's really impossible to get those completed because a lot of that will have you to do tasks where you can't sit there and address any enemies coming at you. So it's really meant for you to play in groups. And like I said, each planet has a percentage conquered. So it's always clicking down to 100%, and then once the planet's completely conquered, it moves on to the next part of the universe. And so it's like auto progressing. So everything's different each time. So like as you go into the map, you'll see like this. Like it's like if you're not playing now, you're kind of missing out because you miss out on some of these early planets, and you can't go back and revisit those. So like there's either planets further down the universe which are different. Each one's different. And so you see like a live countdown of like how many battles are going on, who can join, and as it goes down and out there, it's pretty unique and different. So right now there's only 2 universes, one with the robots, one with the bugs right now. But there's spaces to do other ones up there. But it's like you see the progress of the war going on as you conquer the galaxy, which is pretty cool. And then I think the coolest thing on there is like I think when I'm on the planet, like your drop ship or your ship is over the planet, and every player's ship you can see out there in space looking around. Those are all player ships. So there's a lot of little neat details they have in there that they put in there. It's like each one of those is a player ship, and it's like you see a planet with just a whole bunch of fucking ships all over the top of it. So it's pretty cool.
And it has a cumulative meta. I didn't know that. I didn't know you were like fighting towards a common goal thing. I thought it was like per round or something.
Yeah. It's legit. They have you like fighting for democracy. Like you see the progress of the Super Earth taking over the universe. So, and it's a lot of them are quips and all that stuff. Like they'll sell their own quips as they kill people, and it's the right kind of jankiness. It's like that fondness for like Warhawk and all that stuff like that we played in the PS3 games. This is like a PS3 game. It's a fucking PS3 game. It's like one of those PS3 multiplayer games. That's why it's so popular. It's like the early ones out there we have a lot of fun with. That's basically what it is. I think that's why I enjoy it so much. Is because it's not one of these ones like they have now where everything has to follow like a battle royale or something like that. It's like the same cookie cutter one. It's like one of those old school like mag.
And they're being applauded. They're being applauded for it.
Yeah.
It's
those
so cool.
Type of era of multiplayer games. It's done very well. It's a lot of fun, and it's a top tier game for $39 outside of just the server issues. I think it's just because a lot of people jumped on there that they didn't plan to get on there because of word of mouth. Yeah. Word of mouth really carried, and a lot of people were looking for a game like that because it's fucking Sony closed all the servers on all those other old ones. So how else are you gonna play it? So otherwise, other people playing Warhawk or even playing the original Helldivers, which only had I think 6,000 concurrent players at the point. So. Which we all got on PlayStation Plus.
We did.
I think. So, yeah. But that's it. I'll hand it off to Brant.
I am hopefully going to be playing Starship Troopers with you before too long if my copy ever gets here. I'm usually a happy Walmart Plus customer, and I saw same-day shipping, and I'm like, hell yeah, I will get this and play it Sunday. What day is it? By the time this posts, it'll be Thursday. I don't have this game yet.
I'm hoping it'll be better by the time you get it, because I was able to get some games in I think earlier today, and then there's some people who can't still get in games, so it's like they're still addressing some issues where people are putting the console to sleep while they're on the ship. That's taking up spots on the server, so they're trying to patch that out so they keep those people out. So
timeout.
There's a lot of weird shady stuff going on there. Yeah, the time people out and stuff like that. They're taking advantage of the situation. So, but yeah, that's it. Go ahead, Brant.
Aside from embarrassing Warzone with you gentlemen, I played about 15 minutes of the update for the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Cool.
Because the update
opens up the map today. And stuff, right?
It opened up Junon. There's a little bit of Junon that you get. That's the area. That's the militant Shinra controlled area. And so it opens it up, and it just kind of shows you lower and upper, and kind of lets you go around. You can go around. There's like a lot of different enemies and things you can fight around, or you can just go straight into the city. Like I said, I literally booted it up, kind of walked around and oohed and awed, and then it was time to do this, so I haven't really got too far into that.
Looks amazing.
And it looks amazing. This version, because I didn't do the PS5 update, I think that got a free update, so I think I downloaded it on my PS5. But I'm noticing it more with this version. It can, taking using a lot more of the DualSense features and stuff like that. So
always a plus. Some people hate them. I freaking love it. It's a game changer to me.
I continued with Pokemon Sword. I am almost done with that game. I think last week I had literally beat like the first gym leader. I've beaten all the gym leaders now. You
got that far through it that fast?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This, compared to a lot of the Pokemon games, it's a pretty cut and dry, pretty linear game. You can get through it pretty quick. I went because you go through, you do all the gym challenges, and in this version you do like a semi-finals thing where you fight a couple people to see who's actually going to be the challenger to go through and fight the champion.
Not quite to the full Elite Four type thing.
Yeah, and there is no Elite Four. It's from the guide and everything. It looks like I'm gonna go through, and before I fight the champion of the region, I fight the gym leaders again with kind of like powered up teams.
They're powered up, or they give you a boost?
No, they're powered up. Like they've got better stuff than originally when I fought them. Although at this point my team, everybody's in the level 60-ish area, and most of their Pokemon have been like high 40s, low 50s.
Probably be okay.
It's not been a problem at all. And I've got a pretty diverse team through various different types. So usually if somebody throws something up, I've got an answer for it. Like, oh, that's a flying type. Let me throw out my electric, Pokemon. Yeah. So
you have a good rock, paper, scissors formula going.
Yes. So I should be finishing up that pretty quickly. I've got to get back into Hi-Fi Rush. Haven't played that. I just got in the groove of Pokemon, and before I knew it, I was at the end here.
So, are you playing Hi-Fi Rush on Xbox, or do you get it for Steam Deck?
It is on Steam Deck.
On Steam Deck. That's right. You said you grabbed it.
And while I'm going through this Pokemon, I was looking at what I did and did not have. And I did not have Pokemon Ultra Sun, so I picked that up in my games acquired section.
That one's relatively inexpensive still, right? As far as Pokemon games go? Yeah.
And then I also picked up this because me and the family ran through this anime recently, and I always like having a game to kind of go along with it. And this is kind of a battler brawler. This is My Hero 1's Justice 2. This was like $17 on Amazon. Okay. So, and it's one of those where some people don't like it. Some people say it's okay. So
I think I remember talking about that one.
I'm sure we'll have fun with it.
The game? Oh, you haven't tried the game yet?
No, we haven't. It just came in today, and I haven't really haven't got into it. It's a Bandai game, so.
Is it a CyberConnect by any chance? They do a lot of anime games.
It
does not have their branding on here, so.
No, I think it's the same brawler one like they did the Jujutsu Kaisen one. It's copy paste. It's usually those same brawlers with different
licenses on them.
Roster updates.
Roster updates.
Skins, reskin and update the roster.
Because I think that Jujutsu Kaisen one is the one where everybody drew the line with, because it's straight unimaginative, and it's the same company that just copy paste the different ones on there.
Fans were done after that. They were like, nope.
And there is a new
for $60. No, $60 for that copy paste.
And see, there is I won't say a new version of this game, but there is the most recent game to come out that's a parallel to this anime franchise, is like a battle royale style, where it's, I forget how many teams of 3, and you just work together and fight it, but it's like a free to play thing. So
I played that and I won around. the weirdest thing.
I was about to say a lot of
like,
people were trashing on it, and they were like, "It's kind of weird and clunky." And
I was down so many times and somehow came back to life, and I'm like, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would describe that game.
So, but yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Which is funny because Brand mentioned it, because I think they said they had like 3 million downloads or something like that. They just celebrated some crazy milestone for it. It was something crazy.
Did y'all get the Banjo-Kazooie amiibo? Did y'all jump on that one?
Actually, yes.
I did when it
looked
came
good.
out. So
I was thinking of stuff that came in. I had some random things here and there, but
yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is somewhere behind me. Actually,
it's a good looking one.
When the Sora one came in, I'm done. I got all of them. I'm over. I don't have to worry about
my
it anymore.
damn Sephiroth got canceled. I pre-ordered it through one of those things. You know, Wario always posts those, and I pre-ordered it when it happened, and then like months later, it was like, oh yeah, that's you're not getting that anymore.
It sucks.
I'm like, oh, thanks.
We overpromised.
That's what the pre-orders.
Oh, like my copy of almost said Starship Troopers. My copy of Helldivers.
I mean, you got $10 out of it, so you made profit.
I feel like reaching back out to him, like, hey, you said it was gonna be here Wednesday, and now it's Thursday. I get another $10. Throw me another $10 my way. $20 game.
At this point, they'll probably just refund you. They'll be like, okay, yeah, sorry, it's not here.
It's still on its way. I would appreciate that. All right, is that it for us? You guys got anything else you want to add?
It's on the same truck as your PS5.
Oh, God, they just plugged it in. They're like, finally, we have a game to play. Besides FIFA, was it FIFA 20? They probably came out with the...
Yeah.
FIFA 21 launched with the PS5. They already got the Ultimate Team. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.